Welcome to another episode of Dear Qadriyyah Safiyyah, where I scour the internet and I search for situations where I can offer my unsolicited opinions. Today's episode of Dear Qadriyyah Safiyyah comes from Ask Amy. Hopefully. Yep. In the Mercury News. Is there a date? September 14th, 2022. Alright, here we go. Dear Qadriyyah Safiyyah, should I tell my parents I know their secret and I'm not mad? Family gossip, family gossip. Dear Qadriyyah Safiyyah, I was conceived via sperm donor, and my parents, who are very private, never told me. No. That's an easy answer. No. You don't need to tell them that you know, and you're not mad. Via a DNA testing site, I was able to figure out the identity of the sperm donor. Wow. And I wrote to him. I knew to be prepared for any possible outcome when I reached out, but I was pleased to learn of a good, healthy history and intrigued by his warm openness to getting to know me and my family. Why you gotta drag them folks into this? We've agreed to proceed slowly, which I think is healthy and in general a positive outcome. My concern is regarding my parents, of course, with whom I speak frequently. I'm not angry with them, and I want to respect their privacy and the choice they made not to tell me, and I worry this news may negatively impact my relationship with them. I also have teenage children who currently know none of this. What are your thoughts? Signed, open-minded daughter. Okay. Well, and this is why I'm remembering to ask you all to like this video, to subscribe. Oh, it will be down here. To subscribe to the channel and to share. But I won't ask you to comment. Because I want your opinions to also be unsolicited. So I won't ask you to comment. I won't do it. But I will comment. So I love it. I've totally changed my mind. But I feel like I don't know if you need to tell them you know your secret. Their secret. I think what you can tell them is that you learned. What made this person, like, they didn't tell us how they know that. That's what I thought we were going to be discussing. I don't know how they know that. Because based on how you know, that's how you have this conversation with your parents. Now, if it came about like, oh, my drunk uncle told me that there's a family secret and I'm not my dad's kid, you know? And then I don't know. How did you find this out? Because I was already like, a DNA result gave you his contactable information. Is that what people are doing on DNA websites? Is that legal? I guess it depends on what box you checked when you became a sperm donor, right? Is anonymity, your ability to remain anonymous. Okay, so I don't know if you need to frame it like I know your secret. You can just frame it because this definitely impact. This is an impact on you because it's the difference between, your biological father and your knowing of your biological makeup, right? So it impacts you. So I don't know if you need to tell them that you know their secret, but I think it is important for you to tell your children, your children, whose biological father is this man that you found on the website. And definitely talk to your parents and let them know, hey, see, if I knew how you figure this out, then I could, write the script more effectively. But without just keeping it general, mom, dad who I love and cherish. Dad, just love you so much, Dad. I met my biological father. The children know about him, and I'm looking forward to having a functional, larger family than I knew that I had previously, So I didn't know that this person existed. I now know that he exists. He's open to experiencing life with me and my children and probably you. Because the only children involved are the teenagers, So that's the situation that needs to be handled with kid gloves. But everyone else is an adult here. I mean, if you have two teenagers, your parents are old enough to have this conversation. I think they're old enough to have this conversation with you. So just frame it based on your experiences, not necessarily what their role in it, I guess. Because if you're not mad, right, and it's just a matter of them being private, they have a right to their privacy. Your biological father is also your right. So when those two things clash, I have a right to know that I had a biological father that exists in this world currently, still in this very moment. And I enjoy knowing that he exists and getting to experience life with him in it. That does not take away from my enjoyment in experiencing life with you two, the two of you, both mother and father, right? So that's where we're at with this mom and dad. And, I can respect how you want to handle this. And I encourage people to give people time to change their minds. Because I know for me, when I get unexpected news, even small unexpected news, really, I have to process it. I need to process it because this is what was happening in my mind just mere moments before, and now with this new information, I have to shift the. I just received another variable, and the formula that I had, it might not be able to work with this variable, but it might. So I gotta go through the process. I gotta throw this variable in the equation that I've already had and see how that works out, right? And if it works out, like, can I throw this in there even, right? Does this work in this equation? Yes. Do I like the outcome? Sure. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta get there. So, or if it doesn't work in the equation I've already got going, and I don't want the outcome, even if it does work, now I gotta come up with another equation. So it takes me time to process new information, right? So you might come at me and I might be like, it varies, because I might be like, yeah, okay, all right, right, okay, yeah. And then I think about it, I'm like, wait, no, that actually, hold on. Maybe I need some follow-up questions. You know what I mean? I can allow me follow-up questions so I can formulate an equation. You know what I mean? You know, you might ask me something and I'm like, no. And then I think about it, I'm like, well, actually, that's actually magnanimous. That's better than I had planned. We're going to do that. You know what I mean? Allow people to change their minds. Allow people to react and respond in the best way they know how in that moment, to receive new information, process that new information, and they may come to the same conclusion. I may come to the same conclusion, right? But I processed it. And so now I'm 10 toes down in my first analysis. So I encourage everybody to take some time to not begrudge people for needing time to process. And, you know, my 9-year-old is infinitely aggravated with me because I take my time to process all his requests, but they not in his time frame, you know, because he doesn't remember, but I'm still processing requests he's had, you know, about things, and I'm working on the equation. I'm working on the equation where the outcome is desirable for the both of us. Because I'm like, well, if I do it like this, then, you know, it'll work out the way he'd like it. But then, you know, I'm, you know, in a position to do a lot more things than I had wanted to do. So how can we do this so that we're both happy, right? So I'm processing those, you know, requests, and then he's sending in more requests. And sometimes, very many times, I have to remind him that, you know, I'm not God. Sometimes I'm not the path of least resistance for you. You may want to put your request out to the ethers, okay? You may want to speak it into a seashell or something. You may want to write it down and put it in a bottle and send it off in the ocean, okay? You might want to carve it into a tree, okay? You might want to paint it on a rock, all right? You might want to make a sign and put it in the front yard. Because if you ask me, this particular request is going on in the non-emergency pile, okay? And so that might take a while. So you might have greater results if you go to God. You might want to ask God for this. Because God says, come to God with your request for daily bread. So I feel like, you know, anything from that to everything, you know, you can go to God. Just come to me for the, like, worldly things, you know, like the things that require my action. If it requires my action, then include me in the conversation with you and God, you know. But if it doesn't, if I'm not required, if I don't have to be the one to do it, if it can be done by even one other soul that's not in this body right now, okay, then go to God with it. Go to God, because there's how many people are in China right now? In China alone. There's like, how many people are in China? Because what I'm saying is, what's the world population? Let me ask Google right now. Hold on, let's see how this is gonna go. How many people are currently in the world?
In 2021, the population of the world was 7,836,630,792.
There's almost 8 billion people. Let's not overround. Let's not overround in this, because the rules would follow that this number gets rounded up, right? This number gets rounded up. But let's go to 7 billion. Let's say there's a solid 7, because we don't know the death rate, the death and life rate on a daily basis. So this number is going to fluctuate, and I literally have no idea how it fluctuates. But let's just say there's 7 billion people. I'm just one. I'm just one. And those are only the people moving parts that God has all available access to at every moment in time. Okay? That 7 billion and that's just the people. Can I ask you how many animals? Is that a question we have an answer to? How many animals are on this earth right now?
According to petsonmom.com, this can be written as 20 quintillion or 20 billion billion.
Now, I don't know where they get that number from, but it even 20 billion billion. 20 quintillion. The best estimate, that's what it says, the best estimate, and this is animals.mom.com. I don't know where they get this number from, but that seems like that's still a low estimate, because I don't know how we could possibly count all the animals, but the ones we can count, let's put it like that, and that's for people too, because that number, those are the counted people. There's tons of people that are unaccounted for, literally. So I guess we could round up if we go on with that logic. So there's 8 billion people right now on this earth, and best estimate, and 20. Should we do billion? Because I, as a black person, I like the billion, but that is also 20 quintillion. Those are moving parts. Oh, we didn't even get to the plants yet. Okay. We didn't even get to the plants yet. These are all moving parts available to get your plan in motion. Okay? But I'm just one person. So if we're doing a numbers game, and we should always be doing a numbers game. If you ask mommy, that's one person. But if you ask God, that's 8 billion possibilities at your disposal. You see? So, yeah, that's how I operate with the 9-year-old, so that I can reduce the amount of requests that I gotta, go through equations and literally create formulas so that they can work out. That's what I do. I tell the 9-year-old to go to God. And I also go to God. And that's what I keep telling him. Like, that's how things get done in my life. I go to God. And I be like, dear Lord, Qadriyyah would like a transformer, Lord. Not the one that transforms into the helicopter. No, Lord. We tried that, Lord, and it was too many tiny pieces that got lost, Lord. No, we'd like a transformer, Lord, that's like a car, Lord, with big parts that he could keep together at this stage in his life, Lord. We thank you for the helicopter transformer so that we experience that we don't want the helicopter transformer. So now we'd like to experience the car transformer, Lord. That's what Qadriyyah has decided in this moment that he wants. Amen. You see? That's all I got for you. Much success to us all.